In this episode of Choosing Beggars, we're reading 4 stories. The story of how my great-uncle pulled the reverse on his beggar wife and children, great-grandmother passed away, caught my aunt trying to take the jewelry off her hand after the funeral. It's free, right? It's free because I asked first. And finally, crazy lady doesn't know what brush strokes are and tries to frustrate me into giving a discount. If this is your first time, my name is Spicy and I cover the craziest and the funniest retail stories featuring Karen. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to click the like button and subscribe. If you like retail stories, check out my playlist in the description. Congratulations Loki's God for the comment of the day. Now let's find some more Karens. The story of how my great uncle pulled a reverse on his beggar wife and children. My great uncle was this super cool dude, Air Force, working the fire service and on the rails. Took a 1929 car and redid it when he was 80. Basically every little kid's dream because of his stories and stuff. Anyways, great uncle had begun to have health issues in his older years. This made him less active and therefore at home more, which made him grouchy. His wife and kids began openly discussing in front of him how they could not wait for him to die, how they wanted him gone so they could sell off his stuff for money, how they knew he had a big inheritance waiting for them and they wanted it ASAP. Well, I am sitting there in the other room next to my uncle hearing all of this and he turns to me and just goes, "That's what they think." The minute those cretins started wishing me dead, I rewrote my will and none of them are in it. They have money. I'm getting my wife enough to live off for 1 year and the rest is for my funeral and to charities of my choice. Well, my uncle died later that year at 98 years old. It was a mess because everyone was expecting to get hundreds of thousands each and there wasn't one of them who got $1. My great aunt got something like $5,000. Kids didn't get anything. He bought himself the most expensive casket the funeral home sold and a mausoleum for just him. I love that man. Good lord, this blew up. To answer some questions, I am not sure how he managed to exclude the wife. I guess it was not a total exclusion as she got the house, which she sold to move in with her offspring, and some cash, but it definitely was not what it could have been. They were pissed. The next family reunion included a mortgage of all the family members lost in the 2 years since the last one and his family refused to include him. I added it here because I assumed they'd be choosing beggars because they insisted on speaking where they knew he could hear him, saying things like, "I want XYZ car" or "I want this war medals," and just demanding stuff from him while he would know what their demands were, but they were not ballsy enough to ask him themselves. Just one word, wow. That is the plain definition of pettiness. It is beautiful. It sounds perfect to my ears. It is classical music to my ears. It makes me feel good. Oh, I'm so glad they got nothing. That's what they deserve. How dare you talk about someone who's not dying in front of you, but how can you say you're waiting on someone to die when they are in the same room as they are, especially when they are your father or your husband? How can you wish death on someone in your own family or anyone in general? How can you wish death on someone? You must have no heart. And therefore, you deserve no money, no inheritance, no house, no cars, no new shoes, no nothing. You get nothing. Maybe I'll give them a donut or a fire emoji in the comments. Let's go to the next story. Great-grandmother passed away. Cut my aunt trying to make the jewelry off her hand after the funeral. Sorry for the kind of long read. Backstory. My great-grandmother and I had an amazing relationship. It was no secret that I was the favorite, and she made that very known. She basically raised my mother due to not having an ideal home life with her parents. So when I was born, she immediately had more of a connection with me more than an older grandchildren. My great-grandmother passed away of natural causes at the ripe age of 90. As hard as this was for me to handle, I knew that she was ready to go. My great-grandpa died shortly before her, along with her first son from cancer, so she was ready to be with them. She was a very religious person. In her will, she had pretty much left everything to me, which I split amongst her remaining children and all of her grandchildren. The only things I wanted to keep that she left me was her jewelry because it meant so much to her. She grew up as an orphan with her 5 brothers and sisters through the Great Depression, along with my great-grandpa. and was never able to go to school because she had to provide for her younger siblings. When they finally made it out of their rough times and my great-grandpa started making great money, she was able to purchase things she would have never thought possible, like nice jewelry. She absolutely adored all of her pieces and took amazing care of them. I wanted these pieces of jewelry to give to my daughter one day because she absolutely cherished my daughter, even more than me, I think. Ha! Get to the story, pal. I'm on it. The day of my grand-grandma's funeral. We are prepping for the funeral, getting people seated where they need to be, saying hi to family we had not seen in years, etc. My aunt, whom is quite the crabhead and always has been, shows up blackout drunk to the funeral, making it about her more than anything by being overly dramatic and making people tend to her while we are all grieving. The funeral was beautiful. Tears were shed, stories were told, and laughs were had. It was great. She will have loved it. As everyone is leaving the service, close family and friends are allowed to stay to say their final goodbyes, in which we do. I wanted to be the last because of how close we were, and I just wanted to be the last one to say, "See you later," rather than bye. As I am approaching her coffin to say my piece, I hear the doors open behind me and in stumbles my aunt, sobbing of course. She tries to say goodbyes with me, but I tell her I just want a minute to myself, so she stays behind me. As I am saying my farewells and I love yous, I reach out in my pocket, grabbing her two favorite things. One was a sapphire ring and one was an emerald ring. I placed them on the rings she rode them on every day. They are not of huge value, but they were precious to her, and I wanted her to ride onto the light feeling more beautiful than she was on earth. It was a small gesture, and it really eased my mind over the situation. My aunt sees me doing so and makes some remark like, "That's so kind, she would have loved that." I wipe my eyes, kiss her on the forehead, and proceed to walk to the exit. As I am doing so, I just happen to look over my shoulder at my aunt, and I see her hands inside the coffin, down by my great-grandmother's hand, and I just think, maybe she's just holding her hands one last time. Cool, whatever. But my curiosity gets the best of me, and I kind of just stop at the exit and face my aunt to see what's going on. This is when I see her lift her hands out of the casket and place the rings I had just put on her hands in her pocket. I immediately lose my temper. It went like this. G is me. A is my aunt. Wait, did you seriously just take Mama's rings off her fingers and put them in your pocket? What? Excuse me? You heard me, you idiot. Did you just take the rings off her hand and just put on her? What? Well, yes, but she promised me those. She always told me that I would get them. No, she absolutely did not. You saw the will. You made a remark about how you deserve them, which again, no, you do not. You got everything. Stop being a selfish a-hole and let me have them. You know I am in a rough spot. Wait, so you're going to try and sell them? What's the big deal? She's dead. Just let me have them and shut the F up, you little brat. I am 2 seconds away from hitting a woman for the first time in my life and knocking this girl the F out. Little did I know, my mom was right outside the door and heard everything. Right about the time I am about to sleep my aunt, she throws the door open, grabs my aunt by the hair, reaches in her pocket and grabs the rings. My aunt just lay there in shock for a second before dramatically storming out of the funeral home. My mother and I hug, have a moment, and we go put the rings back on her hands before the casket took her away. I am still just absolutely blown away by this, and it makes me sick. If you're ever in a situation like this, I suggest just knocking that girl out. But hey, that's just me. Oh my god, I would have killed that girl. How dare you take the rings that she gave me and I put them on her dead body and you try to steal her to sell them afterwards? Nah, I will burn your house, I'll burn your family, I'll burn you, I'll burn your dog. Sorry about the dog, but I have to. What she did was absolutely disgusting and the dog has to pay. I have no mercy for dogs. I think I'm going way too far with this joke about the dog, but the dog did nothing. I'll take it. I'll just adopt the dog, but I'll kill her and take the dog because, you know, dogs are cool. I like little doggos. It's free, right? It's free because I ask first. Well, here's another well-deserved Choosing Beggars story. It's an ongoing story for 2 weeks now and just had to share because I love sarcasm when neighbors come up and ask for free material. Some backstory. I bought my first house about a year ago. Yay, me. And this year, I decided to redo the fence for more privacy. Unfortunately, due to the heavy rains all last month, delayed much of the fence work. This week, I bought the stone and concrete and began to work. There is not a lot of space in the backyard, so most of the material is in the driveway. Hence, why some random strangers, neighbors included, will come up to me and ask for free material. However, there's one that takes the cake. Me and CB for Choosing Beggar. Me minding my own business and working on the fence. Hey, are you giving any free material? No. Who are you? I live 4 houses down. Oh, so we are neighbors. Yes, and your fence is coming out beautiful. Well, thank you. It took me a while to find a white and blue stone to match the house. I am currently working on it myself, and I don't even know your name. Oh, it's this name. Well, I don't want to get your hopes up, but I made sure I didn't buy any extra material because it's non-refundable. And if I do have extra material, I might give it to my sister. Sorry. Well, I ask first. Really having no patience, nor don't have the time to explain why he can't have it, I say, I will see, but like I said, I won't have extra material left over because I measure. The Choosing Beggar walks away. I thought it was the last time I see him. I was wrong. After work, I would go home and work on my fence for 3 to 4 hours, applying the material and concrete myself. He will catch me working on the fence and ask the same damn question. Remember, if you have extra material, it is free to me because I ask first. Also, can you help me make my fence after you're done with yours? I will answer the same. I made sure I have no extra material. And no, I won't help you because I am usually tired from work. Yesterday, I was working on my fence, and guess who walks by? Choosing Beggar across the street watching as I work. He comes and starts measuring my fence. I look up puzzled and confused until I say, "Excuse me, what are you doing?" The Choosing Beggar comes with a tape measure. I am measuring your fence, making sure it's in your property line. Also calculating to see how much extra material you would have. So it seems you might have 4 boxes of stone left over, and that means I would have to buy 3 to 4 more boxes. How much did a box of stone cost you? Excuse me, but I will appreciate if you stop bothering me. I am working on my fence, and if you need material, go buy it at this store. And please stop bothering me. But how much did each box cost? Go to the store and buy material yourself. A few hours later, I am still working on my fence. Choosing Beggar comes up to me mad. You did not tell me that each box cost this amount of dollars? I look up to him and said, well, I love the stone and I work really hard to buy myself stuff. But I don't work. I need it free, please. Still working on the fence. I purposely dropped some material on the floor. What are you doing? Leave me alone or I will continue to break more material. But remember, I ask first, as he walks away and crosses the streets. What the hell? It is not because you ask first for something that you deserve to have whatever that thing was for free. Just because you ask for it first. Even if you ask for something, it doesn't mean that you should get it for free or that you deserve to get it for free. And the fact that you demand it first doesn't change anything. You want material? You go buy it. But then don't complain about the price of a particular stone because he chose that stone and you want the same. If you don't have money because you don't work, you don't go and buy the most expensive stone just because your neighbor bought it. Like, you don't have money, so don't buy the most expensive stuff. But then don't go to your neighbor and ask to get the stone for free that you clearly know is expensive just because you don't work and don't have any money. How does that make sense? Crazy lady doesn't know what brush strokes are and tries to frustrate me into giving a discount. I sell art prints. In this story, I was at a convention. In my booth, I will hang up 3 to 5 of each print, packaged in clear plastic, and have a few prints in frames for display. The rest of my stock I keep unpackaged under my table. The girl in the story is like 19 or 20. nerdy looking, tall and lanky with dark hair and thick rimmed glasses. She talks like she's shy and nervous, but her action says otherwise. So this girl comes up to me with a print in her hand and points to a spot and says, "This is damage." Okay, fine. That happens sometimes when they are out. I look to where she points and see nothing. I say, "I don't see anything," but she assures me there's a speck. I figure maybe my eyesight sucks, so I thank her, grab the print and put it under the table to examine it more carefully later and possibly fix it. She pauses for a second, like waiting for me to say something else, and then turns around and goes back to where the others are hung up. She grabs the 2 remaining and stares closely at each print. She puts her face like half an inch from each print and her breath fogs up the package. She brings them up to me and says, "These are damaged too." And again, I see nothing. I take them out of the plastic to show her. Maybe she is saying something on the plastic. Nope, she still sees specks, allegedly in different places on each print. I try to explain to her that she might be looking at brush strokes, but no, she assures me they are all damaged. At the time, I thought she was just picky. In hindsight, I am pretty sure she was trying to get a discount for a damaged product. When she started this game, she probably did not realize I don't put up all my product and I have hundreds of prints in my stock. You would think me pulling up a heavy box full of prints will make her reevaluate her plan. But no, she was really determined. This chick made me individually go through my entire stock, like 70 prints, examining each print like some art detective, each time nervously laughing and say, "Sorry, I'm sorry." Each one had something wrong with it, something only she could see. A corner is bent, you won't see it in the frame. No, it's scratched. I'm pretty sure that's a brush stroke and part of this picture. Feel it, you can feel a scratch. No, there's a mark on it. It's coated, you can just wipe it off. No, there's a fingerprint on it. That's because I just touched it. It wipes off. No, there's a speck. That's part of the picture. No. I wanted so badly to tell her to get out of my booth. After 40 minutes of this, we get to the last print. And of course, she says there's nothing wrong with it. Then looks at me expecting me to come up with some solution to her imaginary problem. To offer her a discount because somehow all my products are damaged and nobody but her has ever noticed. I just said, "Oh well," and started putting the prints away. She paid full price for the 3rd print I showed her. I did not offer her a business card or ask if she'd like the artist to sign it. Oh man, she was really determined to get a discount or to get something free. I don't know, but girl, was she determined? Oh man, I don't know why the dude did not give up earlier. Like, he spent 40 minutes with this woman just showing her prints that were perfectly fine. They were totally fine. They had no issues, no bend, no damage. They were normal. They were okay. They were print. They were basically new. Hey, did you like this Choosing Beggars video? If you did, check out my retail stories playlist right here. I bet you will love it. These videos take me a lot of effort to make, so if you can show me some support by liking the video and subscribing, this will mean the world to me. Also hit the bell button to know when we post a new video and join the notification gang. Thank you again for watching episode 3 of Choosing Beggars. See ya!